everyone, it is Jordan from OurMFC, and today we are going to be going through quite a lot actually. I'm going to get my notes out, but we're going to be talking about everything Boro and how last night's defeat was an absolute shambles. So we've got plenty to go through, absolutely loads, but first of all I wanted to welcome you to the channel. First of all, this is going to be part of a new series that we're going to be doing, which is going to be a match reaction, talking about the game that we've just played. And I want you guys to join me. You know, I want you to give us an email. It'll be info@ourmfc.com. I'll drop the email in the description. But I want this to be a community, you know, a place that we can all come on, get involved. You guys, the fans, get involved. We can talk about the Boro, and talk about some of the shambolic performances like we've seen last night, but some of the really good ones that we've seen against Reading at the weekend. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it. And like I said, I had to make notes. Not that I'd forgot it, like, because you can't forget a performance like that. But I'll jump right into it with Fletcher's injury. I mean, horrendous that he's, you know, had all that time out. And he's built his way back, and you know, scoring 2 and 2, looking like a real threat, coming back into things, especially since you know, he's been right off the boil. So is Akpom. Akpom's not really performed at all. I don't know why he struggled, but in terms of Fletch, I think the last couple of games that he's been involved in, we've looked so much more of a threat going forward. You know, his height makes a real difference. He pins himself against other defenders. So that's definitely made an impact, and you know, hopefully it's not going to be too long. I know Warnock said he said after the game, he said, you know, knowing our luck, God knows how long it's going to be, so fingers crossed it's not going to be too long. But obviously that's a massive blow. And then, like, going back on Akpom there, I just don't know what to click in for him. Let me know in the comments what you think has gone wrong with Akpom. But I mean, I know me at the start of the season, I was looking at him going, what a signing that is. You know, he's come from Arsenal as a youngster, and just out before he came to Boro, out in Greece, he was playing the Champions League against, I think it was Ajax. So to go from the Champions League, you know, you think he comes to Boro, brings that experience and, you know, that know-how, and you could tell straight away, you know, well, he scored his first couple of games, he scored 2 on the bounce. But then after that, he just petered out, and he scored against Wickham, and I can't remember the other one. I think it might have been Coventry or something. But it just doesn't seem to be clicking for him. I know he hasn't had the best service. Don't get me wrong. It's been terrible, the service. That hasn't been consistent at all throughout the season. His movement has been good, but goals he just can't seem to get a touch on the ball and get a shot off. I'd love to see him running at defenders, getting his shot off, you know, testing the keeper, and we don't see a lot of that from Akpom. The goals that he has scored have been pretty much tap-ins, so yeah, let me know what you think about that, and what system we could maybe change, or how you think Akpom, we could get him involved in the game more. Let us know in the comments. Next one, it's got to be, you know, why was Boro? Typical Boro. To play a team like Bristol City, no offence to Bristol City, because I think they've been right up there for a number of years now, but to play a team like Bristol City in the run of form that they're in, I know Nigel Pearson came in last night ahead of the Boro game, but that's no excuse. You know, the players, it's still the same players. They haven't won a game in 7, they've lost 7 on the bounce, and they haven't scored in 5 games. Now, obviously, it was going to be Boro to change all that. You know, people talk about a lot, typical Boro, but when you see a performance like that against a team in that form, and they're still coming out on top and still beating us, it's, you know, it's frustrating, because how do you go from not scoring in 5 games, but then, you know, knowing us, they'll probably go on to challenge for the playoffs now. Might seem a bit daft, but that happens with us. We always end up, you know, causing a team who's doing really bad to then go on a massive run. So, you know, that's frustrating, like, but that's the Boro way, I guess, isn't it? Another thing, they played our own tactics against us, so Warnock sets his teams up to, maybe let the other team play in front of us a little bit. We squander possession at times, and then we hit them on the counter. And that was quite funny actually. I was reading today, Warnock said that his front line yesterday was just an absolute waste of space, waste of time, and it's just awful, horrendous. So, they did exactly what we would normally do to teams. So you kind of got to give credit to the way Nigel Pearson possibly set his team up, and the words that he'd have said to his team beforehand. But they did exactly what we were meant to be doing to them, and just did it in reverse. And we couldn't cope with that. We couldn't deal with it, and that was a shame to say. And of course, it would be bloody Jeju to score the 2 first goals. Seeing as though we were after him in January, apparently. Well, that's another video of that. But there was talk of him coming to Boro and maybe Britt going to Bristol City. But, is he the type of striker that Boro needs? Personally, looking at him last night, I would say so. But then you've got to say the number of strikers that Boro have had in the systems, who knows? Because we've had plenty of strikers you look at down the line that I can think of that we've just absolutely ruined, that we haven't made the most of. I mean, Britt Assombalonga before he came to Boro, although I do think he has quite a lot of stick, he was flying for Nottingham Forest. I think 2 seasons in a row he'd scored 20 plus goals. So we fork out 15 million for him, come to Boro. Yes, he's hit double figures every season and been our top goal scorer bar one, but you've got to think of that return and go, hang about, it should be doing, if we want a striker that we will pay 15 million for him in the Championship, you want 15 to 20 goals a season. That's what you're looking for. So is Jeju maybe the man on a free transfer as well at the end of this season? Possibly a striker that we bring in. Let me know in the comments. But from the performance I seen last night, to hold the player, bringing other players into the game, I'd definitely say so. That he's definitely a man that we'd look to bring in next season, definitely. And going into the second half, I was thinking everyone will have seen Neil Warnock's half-time team talks. I mean, the videos that are out there for Sheffield United, you can check our other video on our YouTube channel of him just absolutely giving his players a bollocking, and you're thinking, you're 3-0 down at half time, go in there, give them a rocket up their ass, right? Come out of the second half, all cylinders firing, attacking style of play, putting the opposite team on the back foot, and forcing them mistakes. But I've seen it time and time again this season, where we seem to be too slow on the ball, in a sense of we'll get in a good position, and there was a couple of times, I'm not going to knock Jack Steele because I think he's been absolutely brilliant all season, and he's really kicked on, but there was a couple of times in a couple of different positions where we were in and around the box, and you're thinking just go at the byline, or try and whip a cross in between the around the 6-yard box area, so the keeper's a little bit hesitant, he doesn't know where to come for it, and if he does and he saves it, that's fine. We created an opportunity, but what we seem to do is we seem to turn round and maybe pass it back and then go up the other side, and I know we're trying to create space, but sometimes I do think we're trying to walk it in. Now, if you're in a good position like that, on the edge of the 18-yard box, you maybe 1v1, you're thinking, right, go past him, whip a ball in, do you know what I mean? You're creating something from that. So I'd like to see us do that more. And actually thinking about it now, going back to Bowler's opportunity in the first half, if he takes that opportunity, you go 1-0 up. But Bowler then scores 2-2, who's without a doubt a fan favourite at the minute. But puts you in a completely different position, and it's these little split-second decisions, I think, that have cost us this season a lot, where players are a little bit unsure what to do with the ball. I heard Warnock say that he thought he heard Fletch shout to square it, which is fair enough, But I think if we can, improve these split-second decisions around the pitch, you see Man City do it. The way that they play is unbelievable anyway, and they've got the players to do so. But it's them split-second decisions that make all the difference. So I think if we could, try and bolster up on that, like you said, a couple of Jake Steele chances that went missing. You take advantage of that in good positions, and you're back in the game. And then going on to Mendes Lang, I'm not too sure what I think about him at the minute. I mean, I know we haven't seen much of him, so it's hard to, build an opinion on someone that you haven't seen play that much. But from what I seen last night, I think, and when he came on, what was his debut? I can't remember who playing. It was his debut though. It seemed to be over trying a little bit, and I know he wants to impress. He wants to get his career back on the road. But you're looking at, there's a few times that heavy touches. He's maybe give it to the defender. We've intercepted it. I mean, there's a couple of times he nearly gave away a bad chance on a halfway line, but he managed to recover, got the ball back, played it out wide. But I think there's a couple of chances. A couple of times, where he's maybe over trying a little bit. So hopefully, in time to come, he's got minutes in the bank there. I think he's going to be a big player coming into the back end of the season. More so, we've got like 14 games left or something like that. I think he was like Cardiff's player of the season when he was over there. So there's a player in there, and Warnock knows that, which is why he brought him to the Boro. I just think he needs a little bit of time. Time that unfortunately we don't really have, but he will be a big player. And we've got Balassi coming back as well. We've got Tav. Tav, I think, proves how important he is to the team, because without him in the side, sometimes you lack that creative spark, and he buzzes around everywhere. You look, he's in your face, or you look, the chance created. He's that type of player. So I think him coming back at the fold as well will be massive. And Balassi, you're thinking if you can have a front three of, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard decision for Warnock to make, because Watmore been playing excellent. Fletcher, what he might do is, if Fletcher's injury is going to be longer than we think it's going to be, could be a good idea to possibly bring Balassi up top. So then you've got Mendes Lang, you've got Balassi, you've got Watmore, and then there's the opportunity to probably rotate Cabano, Mendes Lang, Cabano, and Watmore. I think Balassi is, he's a mainstay, and then you rotate him with the likes of Akpom or Britt. But having them coming back is going to be massive, and they're going to make a difference as well. So yeah, I'd say all that. And finally, the Lighthouse scores. The Lighthouse scores. It feels like I've seen Dale Fry in a Boro shirt since I can remember ever supporting Boro. It feels like it's been that long. I think everyone can agree with me there. He's such an important player to Boro now. It's ridiculous. You look at the likes of some of the defenders we've had in the past, and when Dale Fry's not in that squad, we really, really miss him. I seen a video earlier on Twitter talking about the way he wanted to score his first goal. He was on about he wanted the fans there cheering him on, and everyone going mental. He's maybe scored a winner or something like that. Scoring a consolation goal against an out of form team like Bristol City probably wasn't the best way. He wanted to score his first goal, but I think that'll do his confidence the world of good. Not that he needed it anyway, because he's playing out of his skin, but to get his first goal for his club is brilliant. So that was a positive to say, I guess. I know it was a tap in, but they all count, don't they? So, and the last little point I wanted to touch on was Sam Morsey. My word, what a player he is. I would honestly go as far to say that Sam Morsey is the best bit of business Boro have done since I can remember, really. For the last 10 years, I would say since we let Ledbetter go, he went to Sunderland, and Adam Clayton, you know, went out the fold a bit under Warnock. He wasn't chosen. Same with Woodgate at times. We've really lacked a midfielder that's commanding, that hunts the ball down, you know, does all that stuff that you don't really notice. It goes unnoticed. And I think Morsy's just superb, absolutely superb at that. He mops it up, but he can play as well, and he's willing to get forward. He had a couple of shots last night, weren't on target but that willingness is there, and he's eager to get his first goal. He wants to do well at this football club, and he wants to help us push on, and it's great to see. And I do believe, looking down the line as well, I think he will captain this Boro side, possibly next season. You know, if Britt leaves, I do think I'd look to someone like Morsy with his experience being a captain at Wigan, and just the type of player that he is. You know, like I say, he's commanding on and off the ball, keeping players in line. Whereas for someone like Howson, he's a little bit more quieter. Brilliant midfield, don't get me wrong, absolutely superb in what he does, but in terms of vocalising his opinion and things, it's not as much as the likes of Sam Morsy. So last night, absolutely different gravy. We seen it at Reading. Warnock said it's the best he's ever seen him play, and he got a round of applause for it. The same against Huddersfield. Just absolutely superb, and you know, for the players to come in and give him a round of applause for how well you've played that game is brilliant. So yeah, that's my match reaction from Bristol City. I think we need to kind of forget about this game as soon as possible, get out of our minds, and focus on Cardiff on Saturday, because that's going to be a tough game. You know, Mick McCarthy's coming there, and he's completely turned around. You know, that Neil Harris had quite a bad spell, got rid of him, brought in Mick McCarthy. He's just turned it around, and he's similar to Warnock as well. So it's going to be a tough battle on Saturday, a really tough battle. So I think if we can, you know, look ahead to that, whether playoffs are an option, whether we're going to get them, I've got no idea. I think it's going to come right down to the wire, right down to the last day. So we move on now, like I said, to Cardiff, look forward, and there's that tiny bit of optimism. We've got to keep that, otherwise there'll be no hope at all. But yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, that's been my match reaction. If you guys have got any comments, any questions, or if you want to join me on the next match reaction, comment down below and email info@OurMFC.com, and we'll read your applications. I'll give you the time, the date, and that kind of thing. And you can jump on a chat with me, and we'll just have a chat. We'll talk about the Boro, talk about where we've gone wrong, things we can improve, that kind of thing. And I want to build this community around Boro. The fans, I want to get everyone involved. For a club that we all love. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please subscribe, because we've got another couple of series coming. We've got a latest news series, which will keep you up to date. We're going to be doing some reviews of some amazing Boro books that we've read, DVDs that we've watched. So please subscribe, because we've got loads more content coming weekly as well. And like the video. Thank you very much, guys. See you soon.